Andy and Bob, we're the rock and roll boys. We're gonna make you all lots of noise wherever you are. Come on out on the floor. We're the rock and roll boys, we'll have you dancing tonight for sure.
Well, folks, you're all invited to the Rock and Roll Boys' first ever CD launch. It's this Friday night, 7th of June at Club Kiwana, so it's just around the corner. And here to talk about it is one of the Rock and Roll Boys. We're talking about Andy and Bob joins us tonight. Congratulations, Bob, on your first CD.
Thank you so much, Tracy.
I suppose many years in the making that you've wanted to do a CD?
Somewhat, yeah. I thought we were too old to get excited. There's a big crowd of people that support us these days, and it's nice to enjoy it, and people have been asking for this for a while. It's nice for it finally to come to pass.
We've known you for a few years. Country music's been a big part of your life. Why the switch to rock and roll?
Something new, I think, Trace. Darren and yourself and a bunch of our friends, we've been doing the country thing for many years, and I gave up my working life about, 4.5 years ago now. An opportunity just came up through Andy Stoke, a friend that lives here in Gympie. He just needed a singer for his rock and roll act, and I thought, well, it's something I've never done before, and it's lovely music. Everyone loves Elvis and Bill Haley and all that stuff. That's how it kicked off, and from day one it just kind of worked.
I'm going to take you a walk down memory lane now, Bob. One time you told me that you helped put yourself through university doing one-man gigs around the place in New South Wales, Sydney. Was rock and roll part of your repertoire back then?
Or maybe just a tiny little bit. No, I'd have to say mostly it was whatever the hits were at the time. A fair bit of country thrown in as well. I was kind of always into that as a younger fella. I think the music that happened back in those days, and it was around the Newcastle area, the music that happened around there was by necessity. I was such a poor student back in those days. I just had to earn some money doing something. That's how that kind of started. A few years later, I moved away with the teaching job, and music took a backseat for a long, long time until I came across wonderful people like the Homestead guys down here, and sort of got back into it again, and now it's led into something quite different.
But, at the end of the day, though, Bob, music is music. It gets people thinking, it gets people singing, gets people up dancing, so it doesn't really matter what genre of music you're playing. All music's good.
I agree. We wouldn't do this if it wasn't really the people that come to our shows. Basically, from the first chord of the first song, they're on the dance floor. 3 or 4 hours later, sometimes 11 o'clock or more at night, they're still on the dance floor. They're enthusiastic about what they like to do, and they enjoy the music. As we've kind of played for them and the crowds have grown and stuff, we sort of fell into this idea of, well, why don't we sort of pen some songs of our own, roughly around that genre, or inspired by that sort of music, I guess you'd say. And that's how the CD came about.
This Friday night we do have the CD launch, as I mentioned, at Club Kiwana. Now, how many songs on the CD, and did you guys write them all yourself?
Yeah, there's 12 songs on the CD. It starts off, we've got a little Rock and Roll Boys theme song that kicks it off. Tried to make the 12 songs a bit like a set we'd play at any of our gigs. So it's not all fast songs in a row or all slow songs in a row. It's mixed up. So there's a slow one, a couple of quicker ones, slow down again, and so on, because that's what you do with dancers. They need a break occasionally with a slower song.
Well, if you're in the Kiwana area on the sunny coast this Friday night, you can actually get down there, grab a CD, and I'm sure the boys would be more than happy to sign it for you. But if they can't get to the event this Friday night, Bob, how can they get a hold of your CD?
Couple of ways. It's out there on the Apple Music, and it's on Spotify, and it's on iTunes and all of those sorts of streaming type sites and download sites. But they can always contact us. Got our own Facebook page and our website and so forth. You can find our details there, and we can supply that. As this year moves on, we've got some other functions that we're involved with. We're doing Caloundra Beach Fest this weekend. We're doing all 4 days at the Gympie Muster. So there'll be quite a few opportunities to grab the CD at any of those sort of venues as well.
If you want to have a listen to it now, and if you like what you hear, get along to Club Kiwana this Friday night for the launch. If not, you'll be able to find out where they are. Follow all their social media and see it then. This is the Rock and Roll Boys with the Rock and Roll Boys.
Thank you.
Well, we're the rock and roll boys.
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 And we make a lot of noise.
And we make a lot of noise.
Yeah, we're the rock and roll boys.
We're the rock and roll boys.
We're the rock and roll boys. Let's dance in tonight for sure.